Court remands NDC youth organizer for Swami constituency Razak Avolia into police custody.
In as much as his plea has not been taken, does not vitiate the fact of asking for bail for him. So we applied for bail for him. But unfortunately, the court refused the bail on condition that it borders on national security.
Over 70 pregnant women in Bawku lost their lives within 2021 and 2022 as a result of non-absence of enough health workers in the area due to the conflict.
Within 2021-2022, in Bawku alone, we have lost as many as 70 of mothers who are dying because they wish they could get access to health work.
And some mothers in Sagnarugu municipality appealed to the Ghana Health Service to make available vaccines under the expanded immunization program after reports of a shortage.
The disease is very horrible, so we don't want it to attack our children. So we are appealing the government to provide the.
And later, former minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Idris, who turns down seat, offered him in Parliament by leadership of the minority caucus.
So, Mr. Speaker, forgive me that I have to assume your chair. There was whether I should take over from Honorable Collins Dowda or not. And I've told them that Honorable Collins Dowda is senior by age, senior even to this.
CNR Extra is live on CCTV, and as you do always, we send our messages to our WhatsApp line 0204447033, and you can join us on YouTube as we stream there by joining us on CityTube. Jude, Mensa, Duncan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
It's a Friday.
Finally, how much we love Fridays here.
Let's bring you the first story. In the Sokwa Circuit Court has remanded into police custody NDC youth organizer for the Swami constituency. Let's bring you that insert.
Circuit Court in the Ashanti region has remanded the National Democratic Congress youth organizer for the Swami constituency, Razak Kwampa Avolia, into police custody. The 32-year-old man was detained by police on Wednesday for allegedly inciting political violence. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani has been covering this for us and has details now. Hafiz.
Now, it has been a busy Thursday here at the Asuka Court complex as NDC supporters from constituencies in the Ashanti region besieged the court premises following the appearance of the embattled Swami youth organizer who has been arrested by the police for inciting political violence. Most of the supporters were here as early as 7 a.m. to wait for the police to bring in the accused person. NDC party supporters filled up the main entrance of the Asukwa Court complex and endured a long wait for the arrival of the Swami youth organizer. Hours later, police brought in the accused person, but decided to use the back door entrance of the court to avoid the party people who had massed up in solidarity. Razak Kwampa Avolia, even in handcuff, tried to wave party supporters who chanted and heaped praises on him. Police officers prevented party supporters into the main court building. The prosecution told the court that comments by the accused person in a viral video could destabilize the nation. The prosecution also said police needed ample time to investigate the matter and that the accused person should not be granted bail. Counsel for the accused, Evans Amankwa, pleaded with the court to grant his client bail since he surrendered himself to the police. The court, presided over by his Honor Fred Obitre, remanded the accused into police custody, citing national security implications in the matter. Lawyer Evans Amankwa spoke after the proceedings.
Inasmuch as his plea has not been taken, does not vitiate the fact of asking for bail for him. So we applied for bail for him. But unfortunately, the court refused the bail on condition that it borders on national security, which I'm a bit dumbfounded. Because this is a person, you see, the fundamental basis of bail, other granting or refusal of bail, is the fact that if the accused person or the suspect is granted bail, will he avail himself to stand trial? But the accused person has proved beyond reasonable doubt.
Party supporters were angered by the outcome, but the defense counsel called for calm.
Let nobody think that they can gag anybody's free speech in this country. No. So, putting Razak Kwampa into custody will not deter any NDC person from speaking. But one thing that I want to establish as a fact is that NDC as a party is not interested in destabilizing the peace of this country. That's supposed to remain resolute to anybody. But we will not also sit down for anybody to intimidate us.
There was heavy police presence and party supporters held posters with inscriptions showing support for the accused. Other party supporters broke down in tears. The case has been adjourned to February 14, 2023.
Police officers were deployed to the Asqa Court complex and they had taken positions at the various entrances to maintain law and order. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Asqa Court Complex, Ashanti Region.
So the case has been adjourned to 14th February 2023. That day is a Valentine Day. But you see, the more serious part of this issue is I think that this, in a way, though we are waiting for the final verdict or the final judgment from the court, it's a way to deter others from engaging in such acts. The reason is, as of yesterday, we're saying the same thing, that this is the only country we have, and this thing shouldn't be fueling other supporters, because you might think that you have said something harmlessly, but some supporter may have picked it in a way that, okay, fine, this is what is coming from somebody I look up to, and is going to also erupt another issue altogether. Though the NPP is also having issues with the issue, and the NDC is also saying that some MPP persons have also said same and all that. But I think that calm is what the Defense Council is also asking for, that calm should be amongst the NDC supporters. And the NDC yesterday, the National Youth Organizer, is saying that they are disappointed at the ruling, but still we are waiting for what is going to come out of the court finally.
Yeah, I mean, I expected yesterday the courts to still remand Mr. Razak Kwampa. I mean, Philip, if you listen to the audio, it was plainly very responsible on his part as a leader of a party in the Ashanti region, youth organizer for that matter.
Constituency.
I mean, it was grossly responsible on his part to make some of these comments. And for me, yesterday, I was saying that I understand why the party would want to show solidarity in these times. I mean, every now and then, if the party colors had flipped or switched and it was rather an MPP executive, party executive at the constituency level who had said this, you'd have still seen people mobilize to show solidarity and support. So that is given. But for me, it is when you cross the line, really, when you sought to defend the comments he made. I think they are irresponsible. I heard the lawyer make reference to the fact that in an era of free speech, people are allowed to say whatever they have to say or want to say. But free speech comes with responsibilities. So when you make comments, really, that threaten the security and the peace of the country, I think it's imperative that law enforcement takes it up and ensure that prosecution is followed, and it will serve as a deterrent. I mean, I can understand why Joseph Yamin, as national organizer, will be there to show solidarity. I don't think the party agrees with the utterances
not at all.
He
the
made.
Party doesn't agree
Exactly.
With
So it is very important that they distance themselves from the comments. It's okay to show solidarity. It's okay to say, well, he's still one of us. He made a mistake, and we agree. And I thought that should be the posture of the NDC. But when you create the impression that you feel there's nothing wrong with it, 2 days ago we had the council to Mr. Razak Kwampa speak, and for me it was very, very unfortunate that it came from someone who is in the legal profession, where he says that he still stands by what he said, and that he doesn't regret his utterances. I think that was quite unfortunate, and for me very preposterous, if you ask me. So the NDC should admit that these are not the kind of public commentary.
The party in a way had admitted that this is not something they would in a way condone. It's some utterances that they wouldn't allow that as an executive you should pass. The more reason why the national and the regional executives had to make sure that Mr. Kwampa turns in or
was sent to
the police station.
Yeah.
And I think that this in a way should also tell the supporters who come to the court yesterday at the Sokwa Circuit Court. You could see that they had massed up in their numbers to give him support. But this should go down well to them, that well, he's been remanded, but that is not a final verdict from the court.
I mean, when for nations who self-destruct as a result of political violence, these are the little seeds that generate to become the grand political violence chaos you see, and it is very important that we stop it at the root cause. So for me, like I'm saying, the party, it's fine for them to show solidarity and support to one of their own, but they should still communicate it in such a way that they let their base know that his utterances were off and wrong. I mean, yesterday I was making reference to a quote by Martin Luther King when he says that, see, non-violence is the answer to the crucial questions and political and moral questions of our time. It's really non-violence. I mean, meeting force with force hasn't solved anything, and trying to incite people to engage in mayhem is really not the way we want to go. Well, yesterday, I mean, Simmons was on what the papers are saying, and he made a very interesting point. He says, look at all the notable people in the NDC that have risen through the ranks. Did we see any of them make some of these comments? So for me, it's important that the upcoming generation, they should learn the right way. And inciting people in that manner is clearly not it.
Inciting people in that manner is not what is expected of an individual or a person who is in the political party, and that has to do with an executive for this matter. But it's in the court hands, and the 14th February 2023 is when the case will be heard again. Let's move away from that story and bring you health-related issues. Let's go to the Sagnarigu municipality, where some mothers there are asking or appealing to the Ghana Health Service to make available vaccines under the expanded immunization program because of shortage of those vaccines. Let's bring you that insert.
Some mothers in the Sagnarigu municipality are appealing to the Ghana Health Service to make available vaccines under the expanded immunization program. According to the mothers, over a month now, each time they visit the health center for weighing, they do not get some of the vaccines, including the measles vaccine.
The region is currently facing a measles outbreak, which started in October last year. Meanwhile, the acting Northern Regional Director of Health, Brema Baba Abubakari, has denied reports of vaccine shortage in the region. City News checks at health facilities in Savlugu, Tamale, Sagnarigu, however, confirmed non-availability of vaccines. Here are some mothers speaking to City News.
I delivered this word. The last time when I went, only one that they gave us up to now. We, the mothers, say there's no vaccine. Even if you are even pregnant, you go to the weighing. You yourself should go and buy medicine. If you're not pregnant, this is not medicine for pregnant women. And I will go every month. If I go every month, they'll say that no vaccine. Even the last time when I went, they told me that if I want, because it's their main office when you're going to teach. When you go there, it's not there. Even teachers said when you go there, the medicine, they don't put out the vaccine there. Central, it's not there. It's there. All other regions here. They're not having them.
I went there like 3 months now. And they are still telling me that the vaccine is not yet come. I decided to go to other hospitals, but I heard some people saying that other hospitals there is the same problem.
I've not been going to public places because the disease is very horrible. So we don't want it to attack our children. So we are appealing the government to provide the medicines for us.
Mothers in the region are concerned about the absence of vaccines at the various health facilities, and they are appealing to the health officials to make the vaccines available so they can vaccinate their children against any illness. From Tamale, I am Dinah Ngwan for City News.
So this is a very serious issue, and the Ghana Health Service, I'm sure they are making some frantic efforts to get the situation resolved. When I was in primary, if my memory serves me right, I know measles is one of the killer diseases, and we have tetanus in there, we have tuberculosis in there. So if the people in the Sagnarigu municipality and the Tamale enclave are complaining that they are not having vaccines to tackle or to address the issue of measles, I think it's something that is very challenging and worrying, because if it's a killer disease, why don't we sit down to have shortage of this particular vaccine?
I mean, Philip, if you go through the World Health Organization's statutes and some of their laid down guidelines with how to deal with these issues, it's really proven that timely vaccination of children has become a proven method for preventing some of these instances of these diseases that we've been dealing with for some time. In 2007, as a result of a massive campaign drive by the then John Adjekun Kufuor government, we reached a near eradication of measles in the country. So it meant government was doing something right at the time. As at 2020, we understand from UNICEF that about 88 cases were reported. So, I mean, if you look at our history, long held battle with measles, it's been sort of, I mean, on the rise, and somehow, some way, it will come back on the low.
So it's like fluctuating
in a way, very, very, very well. So, I mean, before the 88 cases that was reported in 2020, the year before, it was about 1,238 thereabouts. So it's like I'm saying, there's a history with regards to our efforts at fighting measles. And for me, I think we've come a long way as a country to really make sure that we eradicate it totally, like we did in 2007. 2011, we made some other significant progress too, according to UNICEF. But I mean, it's been like we take a step forward, then we take 2 steps back. 2023, I don't think we should still be dealing with the issue of the lack of vaccination, for which reason it's becoming widespread again in a particular area. I feel we've gone beyond that as a country, and the Ghana Health Service, I believe, are listening to this show.
Of course.
And we want to really plead with them that they should go to all of these underserved areas and still help with the vaccines. I believe there are enough vaccines there, only that is not reached.
Well, the northern region now, Director of Health, Baba Abubakar, he has said that there isn't shortage of the vaccine, but from the checks of a City News reporter, that is Dinah Ngwan, visiting the various facilities, the Sagnarigu, the Tamale hospitals, noted that the shortage there. And from what you are saying, that means there may be a shortage amongst the mothers, but for the Ghana Health Service, there isn't any shortage. So move in there and get the situation resolved.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big ask for the Ghana Health Service. I mean, since 2003, we've not recorded any deaths from measles. I hope that you are able to keep with this very positive trend and to later come back afterwards, some 20 years down the line. I think it will be very unfortunate as a country. We should be seen to be making progress in all spheres of our national life, and some of these things draw us back. So we plead with the Ghana Health Service, they should make available the vaccines so they are sent to these underserved areas. Then we don't have to come back to some of these things.
Well, from one troubling story to another, but let's still stay in the northern part of the country and go to Bawku, where some 70 pregnant women have died as a result of the health workers fleeing the area because of the conflict there. This happened in 2021 and 2022. Let's bring you that insight.
The Bawku district has lost over 70 pregnant women within 2021 and 2022 as a result of the absence of enough health workers in the area. The protracted conflict has resulted in the health workers fleeing the area to protect their lives. Many have left to other districts within the region, whilst others have relocated to other regions. The Upper East Regional Security Council, REXEC, has assured of its commitment to work with the feuding factions to bring a lasting solution to the problem. Now, on working visit to the Bawku area to commiserate with the affected families, members of the REXEC said they will work with all stakeholders to ensure peace in Bawku. Upper East Regional Correspondent Frederick Awuni has more.
The protracted Bawku ethnic conflict has resulted in the loss of many lives and destruction to property. Bawku has become a ghost town with gunshots almost every night. Last week, the military were accused of allegedly killing 7 persons in line of duty, but in a press statement debunked the claims. Following the death of the 7, the Upper East Regional Security Council, REXEC, paid a working visit to Bawku to commiserate with bereaved families from both factions and called on the feuding factions to cease fire and embrace peace. REXEC chairman, who doubles as the Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, bemoaned the impact of the conflict on livelihoods and admonished both factions to cease fire.
Fighting never solves any problem. It rather draws us back. It rather increases our poverty levels. We all know schools have closed, hospitals have closed, commercial activity is completely almost zero. People are scared. These are the facts of Bawku. These are the realities of Bawku. What are we doing?
But the assembly member for Misiga, Paul Musa, expressed dissatisfaction about the alleged military brutality in Bawku and called on REXEC to ensure all security personnel exercise high standards of professionalism in their line of duty.
After everything, when they were questioning me, I was giving them their answers. All of a sudden, one of them came with a gun. He wanted to shoot me, then they gave him a sign that he shouldn't do that. Then he cocked it and removed the bullet, they removed the maga, then he now used the gun on me. He hit me to the extent that I have to protect myself by using my hand and protect myself because I would have been killed. He beat me with a gun to the extent that they won. They wound my head, my hand here. They have wounded me there. You can see all over here, even here. By using the pin of the mouth to choke me, then you can see my head. I just went for treatment.
The head of human resources of the Ghana Education Service in the Upper East region, Joseph Anaba, says the attrition rate in 2022 was overwhelming.
As a result of the conflict, ladies and gentlemen, releases and transfers outside Bawku in 2021, 30 teachers left Bawku municipality to other districts within the region. But in 2022, inter-district transfers alone was 95. 95 left Bawku municipality to other districts in the region, and 85 teachers left Bawku to other regions in the nation.
A senior public health officer at the Regional Health Directorate, Suleimana Majid, also bemoaned the impact of the conflict on essential services such as health and appealed for peace in Bawku.
We've also seen that women who are actually pregnant and would have wished that they get quick access to delivery, because if a woman is actually pregnant, it's the life of the woman as well as the life of the baby who's yet to be born. Within 2021-2022, in Bawku alone, we have lost as many as 70 of mothers who are dying because they wish they could get access to health workers to be able to give them timely health interventions. Putting these two alone will tell us that there is actually a devastating effect of the conflict in Bawku.
RECSEC has admonished the feuding factions to use dialogue and embrace peace instead of the continuous firing of arms in Bawku. They have actually appealed and begged them to cease the gunshots, embrace peace. But then also there have been concerns from the feuding factions that all illegal barriers within the Bawku area should be removed so as the people can integrate well as a measure of bringing lasting peace to Bawku. Reporting for City News, Frederick Awuni, Bawku.
So healthcare in the area is a challenge, and I think I side with the healthcare workers. Reason is I can't stay in a particular area where I know my life is being threatened, and I'll stay there and say I want to look after people. So it's the peace we are asking for. Aside the healthcare issue, we have that of the academic activities there coming to a halt, economic activities coming to a halt. And that is not the first time people are complaining or saying stuff about the Bawku community or the Bawku enclave. I think that if it has to be worked on, it has to be worked on now, because if nothing is being done about it going forward, it may be a ghost town.
What's the point in trying to save lives when your own life is very much at risk? So for me, I understand. I won't say I agree, but I understand why these health workers would not want to put their lives in harm's way in an attempt to also help society. I mean, we understand from the early 80s that Bawku used to be a really bricks business community.
And even the Member of Parliament, Mahama Yadaga, has indicated that it's a very
it used to. I'm not sure now. It used to be.
It can be done.
With all that's happening right now, I think it's taking some steel away from their economic potential as a town. I mean, it used to, from what we've read, it used to be a very viable economic activity going on in the area. I mean, because of its location and how central it was to southern part of Burkina Faso, shared borders with Togo. I mean, a lot of people, traders, used to go in and out of the town. So you get the impression that a lot was happening there until the emergence of these clashes that has become almost now synonymous with the town. So the Kusasis, the Mamprusis, clashing over chieftaincy issues, clashing over partisan politics, clashing over even the siting of market towns and all of those things, and quite recently also clashing over issues very trivial.
But even with this, the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference have been making some salient points. They're asking government to, if possible, all the resources at its disposal should ensure that the conflict in Bawku is kept. Let's bring you that insight.
The Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference is appealing to the government to utilize all resources at its disposal to find lasting solutions to the Bawku conflict. Addressing a press conference, President of the Bishop Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, bemoaned the security situation in the community, stating that it is turning into a ghost town. There's more in this report by our correspondent Daniel Sakti, and read to you by Hawa Idrisu.
Has in recent times dominated headlines as a result of some deaths recorded in the community. Residents of the area recently accused the military of shooting unarmed civilians. However, the Ghana Armed Forces in a statement denied the accusation. Addressing a press conference, President of the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference lamented the security situation in Bawku, saying it is gradually becoming a ghost town. He further said the situation has worsened as a result of the influx of refugees from Burkina Faso, adding that it could serve as grounds for terrorist infiltration.
We wish to reiterate our appeal to government as a matter of urgency to use all the resources at its disposal to ensure that a lasting solution is found to the protracted conflict in Bawku. The situation of insecurity in Bawku and its environs is further compounded by the recent influx of refugees from Burkina Faso into the area, thus putting further pressure on the already impoverished and beleaguered communities welcoming these refugees who are seeking safe haven.
Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi-Gyamfi, however, called on the government to empower the national security to ensure that terrorists do not infiltrate the country. He again urged security personnel deployed to the community to ensure peace and desist from meting out brutalities and other forms of inhumane treatment against residents of the troubled community.
We urge the government to empower the national security apparatus to ensure the non-infiltration of terrorist groups into the country. While commending the security personnel on the ground for working towards security and peace in Bawku, we call on them to be more professional and circumspect in the discharge of their duties and be measured in the use of their firearms so as not to kill innocent people.
Bishop of the Konongo-Mampong Diocese, Most Reverend Joseph Asebonsu, also served notice that the group may picket at the Jubilee House if their appeals to government to deal with the Bawku situation falls on deaf ears.
If it doesn't do it, then we may have to walk to Jubilee House with some people from Bawku and picket the place. The government will act.
So it's obvious, everyone wants peace in Bawku, and I think that once the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference have called on it, EBIs are calling, security officers are calling.
I know. I mean, Philip, the long-standing ethno-political conflict in the area really has been going on for decades. That's the truth of the matter. And I've been always saying that you can clearly tell that there's been a clear lack of political will to really address it head on. Partly because of the fact that political parties have, in a way, benefited from the ongoing crisis we have in the area. They don't say it openly, but their actions sort of create the impression that the divide the divisions there in a way help their case. I mean, we've listened to the defense minister on the floor of parliament 2 days ago, where he made a point that the current clashes and acts of instability going on in the area right now has got nothing to do with any chieftaincy disputes.
But it's total criminal issues.
Yes, even though in the past some of the clashes were as a result of chieftaincy disputes. He says now it's per the intelligence the defense ministry is speaking. It's got nothing to do with chieftaincy. It's got nothing to do with partisan politics. It's just plain criminals taking advantage of the situation to just foster their criminal activities. And I've always mentioned that, see, if you look at the problem in Bawku right now, it's only happening because there's been some sort of weapon proliferation in the area, and we need to tackle that head on. I mean, of course, in the long term, we would have to address the issues that have sort of crystallized the antagonisms in the area, in that you know that the chieftaincy at any time could become an issue. So there should be a roadmap in addressing chieftaincy issues, addressing partisan political issues when they come up, so there can be some harmonious setting in the area. But I believe strongly that we need to address unemployment in the area. I also believe that if the youth have something they are doing, they will not risk their lives by following some youth leader who is just pushing them and inciting them into violence. So I think a roadmap is needed. It should be from the presidency. The president should take an active interest in this together with the various stakeholders, both a bipartisan approach, both from the NDC, from the NPP, government opposition, National Peace Council. Everybody come on board. Let's look at ways we can bring lasting peace to them. But you see, if you treat it as some side issue, then every now and then we'll have to come back to it. But if there's an active roadmap being led by the presidency, I believe we should be able to find some lasting solutions.
Well, so restoring calm or peace in Bawku wouldn't be an event. It's going to be a process. So the stakeholders, like we always do here, and call for the stakeholders to ensure that this is done. And also individuals who are involved in this should just stop so that peace will reign. Academic activities is going down. You have health workers running away and all that. But that is not helping. You're still watching CNR Extra on City TV, still to come. Former minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, turns down a seat offered him in Parliament by the leadership of the Minority Caucus. Kindly stay with us. We'll be back with more stories.
Roses are red, violets are blue, Valentine's is approaching, so get ready for Shades of Love 2. Shades of Love with Aquaba 2023 is here again. Get your shade of red or pink outfits ready. Hit up your special one and plan a night of unbelievable fun and a whole lot of love. Listening to Aquaba's back-to-back hits. Shades of Love 2023 with Aquaba will be the night to remember for all those who love love, and happening in both Accra and in Kumasi. Date on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February 2023 at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel in Accra, and on the 18th of February at Ike's Cafe and Grill in Kumasi. Tickets are going for VVIP for 400 Ghana cedis, VIP for 300 Ghana cedis, standard tickets for 200 Ghana cedis, and for table bookings and cabanas and all enquiries, kindly call 027-227-7757. Get your tickets at
City TV and City FM, Joy FM, YFM, Accra Mall, Eliza's Restaurant, Jolie Junction, Metro TV, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
Shades of Love with Aquaba 2023. It will be awesome. Media partners.
Powered by
Think Media Expert.
You're welcome back, and many thanks for staying with us here on CCTV. And join us with your comments, submissions, and suggestions via WhatsApp line 02. Let's take you to Parliament, where the former minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, turned down seat offered him in the House by the leadership of the Minority Caucus. Let's bring you that insert.
Now, immediate past minority leader in the House of Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, has turned down a seat offered him in the chamber by leadership of the Minority Caucus. The MP for Tamale South bemoaned the seat offered him belongs to the Member of Parliament for Isutife South, Collins Dauda, who is his senior colleague. Hence, he cannot accept it. He made the statement during a contribution to the debate on the Africa Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation, also known as the Niamey Convention, while sitting on the seat belonging to the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Ose Owusu. Our correspondent in Parliament is Ni Ayikwe Okai. Ni, take it over.
Parliament on Thursday debated on the Niamey Convention laid before the House. While the debate was ongoing, we saw the entry of the former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, who ended up occupying the seat of the WA Central MP, Rashid Pelpo, but he later moved to occupy the seat of the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei Owusu, who was at the time chairing the debate. Haruna Idrisu contributed to the debate and in his final submission apologized to the first Deputy Speaker for occupying his seat, indicating that the seat offered him by the leadership of the Minority Caucus belonged to Collins Dauda, who is his senior colleague in age and in the chamber. Hence, he would not be able to accept that seat. However, whatever seat that is offered to him is accepted.
Mr. Speaker, forgive me that I have to assume your chair. There was whether I should take over from Honorable Collins Dauda or not. And I've told them that Honorable Collins Dauda is senior by age, senior even to this house. I would not fit into his chair as somebody who is well trained from home. So any other chair, Mr. Speaker, acceptable to me. I'm still the elected member of Parliament for Tamarisa. I thank you.
In an interaction with City News, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, James Kluche Aveji, advised the Auditor General to ignore calls by the Attorney General to unpublish the COVID-19 expenditure report from its website.
The Auditor General, after the completion of the audit, as soon as he presented the report to Mr. Speaker to be laid, he went ahead and fulfilled Section 23 of Act 584 to publish it. So why is the Attorney General asking him to unpublish it? So I disagree with him perfectly there, that he has no power. And then he said it's just an advice. I want the Auditor General not to take that advice because it's a bad advice.
And why do you think it's a bad advice?
It's a bad advice because as soon as he takes that advice, he will be violating Section 23 of Act 584. Because Section 23 says publish it as soon as you present a report to Parliament, to the Speaker. He has presented a report to the Speaker. So he went ahead and published it. If you unpublish it, you are violating this. You can be taken to court.
Later, the Education Committee of Parliament had an engagement with management of the University of Ghana as well as the leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students and other key stakeholders in the education sector over concerns regarding the increment of fees.
We listened to all of them, the university authorities as well as the students. And I think they all gave an account of what is happening and why they are appearing before the committee. We have listened to them carefully, and we're going to work on that and then come out with our recommendations. So as a committee, I can only tell you that we have listened to them, but let me also add that University of Ghana, by our observation and going through the documents available to us, has not done anything contrary to the law.
Reporting for City News from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain.
So the focus is on Haruna Idrisu. The story is that he rejected the seat that was offered him by the majority or the leadership of the Minority Caucus. Yeah. But then again, after rejecting that one, where was he occupying?
So apparently he was occupying the seat belonging to the first deputy speaker, Joe Wise, as we call him. I mean, interesting. See, when the news first came out there, I was saying this is just the media trying to be sensational again. I mean, the issue has been put to bed. Why raise it up again? Then I listened to the reasons why he rejected the seat. Then I'm like, no, maybe Haruna is actually onto something again. I mean, when he goes on to say that he was trained in a proper home, so he doesn't take what doesn't belong to you. I'm asking myself, who was not trained in a proper home for a reason? The person gave him a seat belonging to someone else. I mean, it's interesting for me after his protracted silence when he was removed as minority leader. I feel this is the second clearest indication that all is not well really within the minority. And if anything at all, it's giving us a glimpse really of what we should expect in the coming days with being the minority. I mean, there were so many
because
seats.
I know there is a majority side and there is a minority
yeah, I mean,
side.
if you've been to the
chamber
before,
if you've not been given a seat, or you've been given a seat and you don't want it, why did you occupy one at the majority
I don't even
side?
think it's because he wants to switch and move to the majority. But my concern, looking at this from a layman's view, there were so many other seats there. Why did he have to go and sit in Joe Wise's seat? For which reason he had to make a point and say, sorry, Speaker, I'm your seat. I'm your seat because of so and so and so and so. I mean, he could have started any other seat. Why Joe Wise seat? Because he had to make a point on the floor that I'm your seat because I'm from a respected home and they've trained me all.
Well, he doesn't want to occupy the College Dowders.
I mean, like I'm saying, face value for me, I was thinking this is much ado about nothing. But listening to Mr. Harun Idrisu's comments on why he rejected a seat, I'm thinking maybe he's just giving us an idea that all is not too well. And with the struggles of Mr. Ato Kissel Ato Forcing, having to deal with issues when he was Deputy Finance Minister in the courts and everything that is going on with the minority, I'm thinking that the least Harun Idrisu could do is to not still create the impression that the minority still have a lot not going well for them. I mean, I for once, Muntaka put out a statement. He said he has spoken to his big brother, that's the former President John Mahama. He's agreed. Everybody ceasefire. Let's move in one direction as a party, as a caucus. I feel Mr. Harun Idrisu, even if you are not going to issue a letter or grant an interview saying all is well, the least you can do is to create an impression that you've not. I mean, what is all of this?
Well, let's wait for the new seats that he'll be given going forward in Parliament.
I don't think anybody will give him any other seat again.
Let's move on this story and go to the pensioner bondholders, because they have said that they would not stop picketing at the Finance Ministry until government hits to their calls. Let's bring you that insert.
Picketing at the Finance Ministry by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum has entered Day 4. Now, about 30 retirees with investments in government securities gathered once again at the Finance Ministry to call on government to completely exempt their investments from the ongoing domestic debt operation. Government has proposed a 15% coupon rate at 5-year maturity for individual bondholders over 59 years, but the pensioners have rejected the terms, demanding for total exemption. City News' Charles Osukumi has more.
Right, so it's Day 4 of our coverage of the picketing at the Finance Ministry by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. The Pensioner Bondholders Forum is a group of retirees who have investments in government securities, and what they've been asking for is for complete exemption from the domestic debt exchange program currently ongoing by government. They say they want exemption because although the debt exchange program is voluntary, the exemption gives them guarantees that when their investments are due, government will have no option than to honor those bonds. As you can see behind me, they're numbering about 30. Today they actually brought a banner that reads, "Exempt pensioners from the domestic debt exchange program." As they always do, when they come, they sing patriotic songs. You can hear in the background, they're actually singing the national anthem. We'll stick around and have some conversations with them on why they have decided to go through with this for 4 consecutive days. How old are you, sir?
I'm 81 years old.
81 years old. Why have you decided to join this protest?
Because I can't participate. I can't. 81. How can I wait for 5 years or 15 years? How can I wait? I can't. And I need money for my dialysis. I have a kidney problem.
How much is that costing you?
I'm about to start. I don't know how much. I know it's expensive.
You know, I have worked for over 35 years at the University of Ghana. I've contributed to producing doctors, dentists, bankers, all kinds of people in this country. So I paid my dues. And I've been paying fees for people that I don't even know. Family members, and even sometimes students who cannot afford to pay their fees. I help them, and I'm still doing so. So if this thing is taken away from me, I'm going to suffer. The people who depend on me will also suffer. So for me, it's a very serious thing, and I don't want anybody to touch my coupons. I plan my life around it, and nobody has the right to touch it at all, in any form or in any way.
On Monday, February 6, when this daily picketing began, the finance minister addressed the picketers. Since then, there's been no form of communication from either the finance ministry or any government quarters during or after the daily picketing. I asked the convener for the Pensioners Bondholders Forum if they are looking forward to any formal communication from the ministry.
That was the only day. The second day, we wanted to have some discussion with the minister. Basically, we wanted to find out some information. We didn't want to give them information out, but let the people see what we want. But we couldn't get there. So later on, the chief director said, well, if we want any information, he thinks that we should write. If we write, we will get that information. Well, to me, I feel that's not how to solve problems when you have urgent matters to deal with. People are picketing at your premises. They want to see you and you say, book an appointment. I can't see, you are not a problem solver. Whatever is happening, even if you are eating, you must stop and come and listen to what they want to tell you. When they are picketing, and you think the picketers will inform you, give you adequate information before you come and see them, that is not how we solve crisis. If we are in crisis, I want to resolve crisis, I should apply that I want to talk to you, I should write to you that I want to do. That is not, but that is what they told us, and we left that Tuesday. Yesterday, we didn't make any attempt, because if we have attempted Tuesday, you couldn't get through. Why should we attempt again? Today, we haven't made any attempt. When they come here, we won't make any attempt. If they themselves want to tell us something, we are here. We are at their premises. They are not going anywhere. They can just come and say, can we meet your representative? We will go and meet them.
It's past 11, and so it's now time to go. As you can see behind me, they just finished singing the national anthem and said a word of prayer. Singing the same tune they've been singing since Monday. They want complete exemption from government's domestic debt exchange program. They're expected to be here again tomorrow and continue with their picketing. From the Finance Ministry here in Accra, my name is Charles Osukumi for City News.
So for the first time, the bondholders, that is the pensioner bondholders, are picketing again at the Finance Ministry. Charles Osukumi is stationed there. Charles, we understand there are some new faces joining this picketing. Tell us more about what is happening there.
Well, Philip, what was supposed to be a normal day of picketing here at the Finance Ministry turned out quite extraordinary. So, as always, at 10 a.m. since Monday, the pensioner bondholders, they gather here at the Finance Ministry. We just saw from nowhere a former Chief Justice of this country joining, the person of Justice Sophia Akuffo. And you know that it's quite extraordinary because Justice Sophia Akuffo, she was Chief Justice under this current president between 2017 and 2020. So we asked her why she decided to join, and she says it's heartbreaking to see older Ghanaians who have contributed their lot to the building of this country having to go through this on a daily basis. And for her, the fact that they come here every day and they don't get any audience from anybody, they are not engaged, nothing's been told, they don't get told anything, and they have to go and return the following day, it was heartbreaking for her. She said that she may not necessarily be having invested a lot of money into government securities, but she wants to lend her support to the group and bring attention to what is happening at the Finance Ministry.
So what has been the response from the Finance Ministry? The picketed for the first day, second, third, and today is the fifth day. Has there been any engagement between this pensioner bondholders and the government, that is the Finance Ministry, as of now?
on Monday, when this picketing began, the finance minister came down and addressed the picketers. The following day, Tuesday, we were told that they made an attempt to see the minister to make some inquiries, but they were told by the chief director to bring a letter and book an appointment before they see the minister. So on Wednesday, they didn't even make the attempt anymore because they know they weren't going to be able to see him. On Thursday, same. And then today, we've just been told that the finance minister has invited the leadership of the group into a meeting. So they have just all gone up into the finance minister's office. And we're yet to hear the outcome of that meeting.
And as well, if the leadership have gone into that meeting, are we still having other members still working or picketing at the finance ministry, or they've all moved out as of now?
The picketing actually is from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That is what was agreed with the police. So at 11, they closed and they've all dispersed. Yeah. Okay,
Charles, keep following up on that story for us and keep us updated as to what happens there. So there you have it, Charles Owusu-Kumi. He's our man there at the Finance Ministry monitoring events so far as the pensioner bondholders are picketing at the Finance Ministry. This is interesting because they went there for the first time, second time, third time, so this is the fifth time. And they've also indicated that next Tuesday they'll be going to Parliament to also listen to what the Finance Minister will tell Parliament concerning the calling for an exemption.
I think it's a breakthrough that they've been able to secure a meeting with the Finance Minister. I mean, from the 15%, 15 years maturity that they were able to bargain to about now 5 years, I think they're making some steady progress. And for me, the highlight of it today has been the appearance of a former Chief Justice to lend support. And you see, when such personalities add their voice to it, you know that it is gaining momentum, and for which reason now the Finance Minister has agreed to meet them and have some deliberations with them. I saw a story from Reuters saying that the minister, in one of his usual walking through the gates of the Finance Ministry, saw them and of the moment had a brief interview, a conversation with some of the pensioner bondholders, where he told them that, I mean, he believes strongly that for the tendering. Yeah. So, I mean, next week will be really interesting how all of this will be playing out. But I would want to commend the pensioner bondholders for the show of resilience, the show of dedication to a cause. I mean, we understand that some of them are there not for themselves, but because of the other responsibilities they have. Some have to pay school fees, some have to do so many things with their funds, and now government wants to give them a haircut. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting how this plays out in the coming weeks.
For the pensioner bondholders, the only language they understand is exemption. That is what they've been hammering on from day one. This is how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. I did this with Jude, Mensa, Duncan. My name is Philip Lartey. Many thanks for your time, and keep watching City TV.